I think this track is kind of tricky too, so it sort of compounds the problem of learning the car. I think it'll be better on other tracks.
Daytona. Hey everyone, this is Steve Fakachi with the Vintage Racers Group. You are watching race 1 of our newest season. We are at Virginia International Raceway. Today we'll be driving Ford GTs. They're from, actually I don't know how old they're, probably about 15 years old, these cars, so technically vintage. It's been a bit since I did some broadcasting, so there may be a few hiccups, but I hope not too many, and I hope it doesn't affect the stream too much. In about 12 minutes, we're going to be kicking off qualifying, which is 15 minutes, which will be followed by a 30-minute race. And that's the end of our practice session. We're going to be headed out into, I believe it's single car qualifying. First out on the track is Jeff Underwood. Actually, it looks a mixed car. This will be interesting. VAR tends to be a technical track, not a ton of room to pass, so you need to find a good gap before you start your lap. You have Mac McCormick demonstrating the flashing capabilities of these cars. If you have any questions, type them into the comments, and if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I'll do my best to answer your questions. If you got any favorite drivers you'd like us to follow, you can let us know as well. Let's see what the weather looks like. I actually can't quite make that out. It's Wiley Cox we're following along with right now. This is a fixed setup we're running, so as we've seen in some other seasons, you know, it's going to be in your best interest to stay out as long as you can, burn as much fuel off, and do your fast laps towards the end of a session. This is Jim Graziano driving the Tag Heuer liveried Ford GT. It's got a bit of a Christmas feel to it. Yeah, some of the challenges the guys will be dealing with today is, as I said earlier, the track's a little bit narrow. The elevation, the car will get light as you head over the corners, and you know, the grip is, I don't want to say unpredictable, but definitely changing. And I find that with this car, the bumps, the car has a tendency to bounce almost like a skateboard, just very stiff, and you know, after it lands off of like a hard curb strike. So that's kind of narrows up the track a little bit for the drivers, and just going to make it that much more tricky. So first on the board we have Matthew Barber. Actually, let me see if I'm getting this right. So a little trouble with the timing tower. It only wants to show us one driver. Let's see if I can get this figured out. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the timing tower. But right now on top we have Jeff Underwood, followed by Dave Curtis and Wiley Cox, then Jim Graziano and Bob Lang. After that we have John Clerk and Clark Ostrom, Ralph Solomon, Mac McCormick, and Matthew Barber. Yeah, I don't know what I got going on here. It was working earlier, the timing tower in practice. Oh, actually it looks like it popped up. Not sure what I hit, but we've got it back. I'll try not to touch too much now. So we're about 8 minutes into the session. Still waiting on a few drivers to set a time. Following along Kurt Uzbey, he's one of those drivers, John Wood, and Carlos Bonds. Thanks, Andrew. Following along at home. Hopefully you guys can see the whole timing tower now. I'm a bit rusty, and we had to do a few updates, so things are a bit different than I'm used to. Look, Kurt sets a time. He puts him to 6th to 151.21. Long lap around the circuit, even in such a fast car like this. I think they get up to just over 160 down the backstretch. So right now we have Jeff Underwood in the lead, followed by Dave Curtis. Jim Graziano in 3rd. Those drivers are separated by, it looks like, about 2 seconds. As I said, there's a long circuit, and gives you a lot of opportunities to make mistakes. I did a few quick laps to kind of give some of the guys an idea of where I thought the fast line was, and usually within 4 or 5 laps I can get a lap that I think is satisfactory, where I hit all the sectors good. But I bet you it took me 11, 12 to get something that was pretty good around here. Just many corners that'll kind of catch you out. Turn 1, super tough for whatever reason. If you back off and braking a little bit, it seems like you can give up, 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths on the way in. And if you don't pick up the throttle just right and minimize wheel spin, you could lose another 2 tenths on the exit. So you could be down 4 tenths before you even exit turn 1. Right now we're riding along with John Clark. Found it was very easy to lock a tire up going up over this corner. This is part of the track they call the roller coaster. Wiley Cox heading into Hogpen. We have Ralph Solomon rejoining the track. A little bit of an issue under braking, it looks like. Here we have Matthew Barber, league sponsor, CEO of the Office Service Company, who's they've had some pretty cool prizes for us the last few seasons, as well as they got a nice trophy that we've been passing around. Ooh, looks like Matt got the outside rear just in the dirt there. Super easy to do. Get on board with Matt here for a bit. About 2 minutes left in qualifying. Yeah, very technical section here, just tiptoeing, try not to take too much of the curbs, try not to get too much wheel spin, and maximize your speed here for the straightaway. Matt lets through a car on a hot lap. Follow him through the S's. Goes off over the hill. Very easy mistake to make. Go around the oak tree. This is the longest straight on the track. I don't know if it's the fastest. You may go a little bit faster up the S's, top speed wise. Really got to get it slowed down here. Very easy to lock an inside front tire and head off just like that. Look like checker flags out. Let's see if I can find somebody still on track. No, you don't want to see smoke as you're coming over that corner. Fortunately, whatever it was cleared its way itself out. Wiley Cox trying to improve on a 149.49. Just about a tenth and a half slower. He's going to stay in the 4th spot. We have a few more cars heading down the backstretch, looks like. We're going to jump in Carlos Bonds. I don't think I saw much of him in the rest of the session. Nope, hitting some curbs. You can see the car bounce after it hit those curbs. When it landed, it sure makes it tough to drive. I mean, he hit the curb and bounced out here, but you put a tire just a little bit off on the exit, and you take a long trip through the grass. It's not something you can bring back quickly. So it looks like Carlos is going to take the, I guess the few minutes after qualifying to just get a little bit more practice in. Oh, and they're going to cut him short. Cars will be gridding in a second, and I'll pull up the starting order. So we're all lining up behind the pace car, it seems. Once again, this is Steve Ficacci. I'm with the Vintage Racers group. This is round 1. I think that's season 9. We're going to be driving 4 GTs this season. This first round is at VIR. We are in a 12-round season. We're going to have 2 drop weeks. I think we're going to follow, you know what, I'm going to misspeak, but I think we're following the VIR season, the actual VRG season as best we can. Our league sponsor is Office Service Company. I think they've been with us for, this is probably our 3rd season with them. They've allowed us to have some pretty cool prizes. Like I said, a nice trophy that we all pass around. Have to get a photo of it and share it with you guys next week. Let's see, there's the starting grid. Let's see if I can make it big enough so I can read it to you. Yeah, there we go. So Jeff Underwood on pole at a 147. Outside pole is Dave Curtis, about a second behind him. Then we have Jim Graziano and Wiley Cox making up row 2. Row 3, we have Mac McCormick and Kurt Uzbey. Row 4, Bob Lang and John Wood. Then we're going to have John Clerk and Matthew Barber. Ralph Solomon and Clark Ostrom. And I think I have a button to roll this back one. And in the back, we're going to have Carlos Bonds. Looking at Carlos Bonds to be our mover of the race. See if we can pass as many cars as he can. Yeah, so I don't have a ton of experience with this car. Typically, I'd say you'd want to warm your tires up and get the brakes hot, most importantly, as you head into turn one, but that's not always the case with every car. Some cars really have a little extra grip on those cold tires, and you'll want to delay maybe overheating the tires, which could happen in a few laps. But as I said, I don't have the experience with this car to know which way to go. Let's bring up our race info. Oh, we're in Celsius, so it's 25°C. I don't know if that's hot or cold, and the track's 41°C. As I said, I had to do some updates and I lost some of my settings, so I'm not really sure what that means, but typically a cooler track is a bit faster, a little bit easier to drive. All right, we're exiting Hogpen. The pace car is going to pull in. We're going to be getting the green in a second. Oh, pace car makes the right-hand turn, waiting on the green. Well, it looks like we're off. Looks like everybody made it to turn one. Coming up on turn three here. This one could be a bit tricky. Very gentle on the brakes as you turn in. Very easy to lock the rear tires. Jeff Underwood's got Dave Curtis hot on his tail, followed by Jim Graziano. Gonna follow along with Wiley Cox, see if he can get a draft on Jim here. Let's ride along board, see if he can make this pass. He's gonna back up, give Jim some room. Oh, yeah, that's stuttering. I think that's the traction control kicking in. Got a few cars close here. Let's see. Oh, Bob Lang handed off. Can jump and see what happened to Bob. Looks like Bob's missing a rear wing. That's gonna give him an issue. Missing some downforce on the back there. Jump back live. That's a pretty intense sound effect there. I'm not sure how to get rid of that. Back to our leader, Jeff Underwood. Carlos Bonds hounding Ralph Solomon. I'm going to go to the back of Ralph Solomon and go watch this for a bit. Ralph missed the apex just a little bit. You know, short of Ralph driving off the track, there's really not a lot of room to get around through here. Carl's gonna stick his nose in turn one. No, he backs out. Yeah, I apologize again. The scoring tower's giving me a bit of an issue. I'm gonna play with it. I'm not gonna give up yet. Oh, he's making the pass. Oh, oh, Ralph's taking a shortcut, it seems. Oh, let's look. Oh, Max having a little bit of a trouble. We got a little 3-car battle here for 10th. Right now it's Bob Lang in the Rothmans car, Matthew Barber in the OSC car, and John Kirk with the black GT40. GT40? Man, that may just be a Ford GT. Curious if that missing wing may be giving him a little bit extra speed. It's not going to do him any favors if the car gets laid over this hill. You can see he's got his hands full. Yeah, I'm just flipping through the screens here, seeing if I can get that whole timing scoring to come up. Here, let me bring up the track map. It's our closest battle on the track. We have 4 cars together. We still have Jeff Underwood out front. He's about 6 seconds, so that's why we're going to ride along here. Whoa! Not really sure what happened there. See if I can back up a bit. Oh, looks like Ralph got tires in the grass and collected Mac. I keep jumping to this view. Oh. Yeah. Mac was just trying to mind his own business and picked up a whole bunch of damage. So what we're seeing here is John Clerk, followed by Bob Lang and Matthew Barber. Actually, just in front we have Carlos Bonds. So that's the 4 cars you're seeing. Carlos is in the green car. He's the one who started last, though. He's up 7 cars. He's past 7 so far. Whoa. Bob Lang had a little too much throttle exiting the corner. As we said earlier, he's missing that rear wing, so that's definitely making his life hard. Here, Jeff Underwood out to a pretty good lead, about 7 seconds. Just past the 9-minute mark, so he's got a long way to go. I find that all the mistakes here are pretty costly. I mean, even just an off track, typically the track is turning away from where you're going, so you're going to spend a bit of time in the grass if you do overcook a corner. So Jeff's not out of the woods. So Dave Curtis, our second place car. Yeah, like I said, I really wish I knew what I did with the timing tower here. Just can't seem to get it to go. When it changed sessions, it got a little bit confused. Andrew at home is asking if they pit in this series. No, they do not. It's a 30-minute race, and these are endurance cars, and they have quite a large fuel load, so they won't need to pit. So third place runner, Wiley Cox. Fourth place, we have Jim Graziano. Less than 3 seconds behind Wiley. They're returning very similar lap times. Right now we have Carlos Bonds right on the heels of Kurt Uzbey. Carlos Bonds looking to pick up his 8th position. Yeah, I think he's 7 spots from where he started. This is the battle for 5th. Oh, looks like he was going to stick a nose in there and then thought better of it. I'm going to jump in Carlos's car. Car sounds great anyway, so any excuse to get inside is a good idea. Looks like he got through that corner a little bit better than Kurt. He's going to have a run. Yep, he's going to have it to turn 1. They both get it slowed down good. That's it. Yeah, good job to Carlos. You know, all the other cars are pretty spread out. Oh, actually, John Clerk, and just in front of him is John Wood for position. We're about halfway through with this race. We still have Jeff Underwood out front, followed by Dave Curtis and Wiley Cox looking at the third podium position. Whoops. That's not helping. As I said, I'm still clicking around trying to see if I get that timing bar fixed. Oh boy. Get it slowed down. The walls can come up quick on you. Jim Graziano. Oh, there it goes. Oh, so we got the timing tower back. You can see fast laps in the intervals between all the drivers. Right now our closest battle looks like it's Ralph and Mac McCormick. We could jump to that. Nope, actually that's not a second 20, that's 1 minute 20, so that's not a close battle at all. The as I've been clicking around, the timing tower got a little crazy. I can make that a bit smaller. Let's see here. Let's go to last names. We're all driving forward, so I don't know if we need that information. Let's put the gap there, and we'll shut off. Shut off the interval. There we go. Jump back up with our leader, Jeff Underwood. He's just finishing up a lap. Let's take a lap around VIR with Jeff. Oh, car rejoining the track. Watch out, Jeff. Looks like maybe Clark Ostrom. Oh, good save of Jeff. We're braking for turn one. You want to pick up the gas before you exit that, before you leave that curb on the right-hand side. Head into turn three. Just gotta watch you don't give a little too much brake and have the rear come around. Turn four leads into a little technical section here. Want to avoid all the curves, but get as close as you can. Maybe just nip them just a bit. Be on the gas early here. a long straightaway, and the sooner you get on the gas, the more speed you'll carry down this whole straight and up through the S's. You're going to want to lift around this right-hander just a bit to stay to the right, not miss this apex. As we saw, one of the earlier drivers ended up in the grass. Be careful not to lock up an inside tire, you'll end up in that outside tire wall. Then you're heading down the back straight. We're going to come up over the roller coaster here, and we're going to turn to the left, setting up with a right-hander and trying to not lock up either front tire as you do that. Make sure you get this apex hard back on the gas. Then Hog Bend's going to have a long straightaway after it, so your exit speed here is going to be critical to a fast lap. Second place, Dave Curtis. He's about 10 seconds behind right now. Gonna need a mistake from Jeff to make up that deficit. Yeah, their laps aren't terribly far off. Maybe Dave just wasn't quite as consistent as Jeff has been. Still have, I think, 9 cars on the lead lap, looks like. For a second there, you could see the gap to first place. Look about half the distance is straightaway, and if you look in the back there, you could see Wiley Cox. Here's Wiley heading down the back stretch. Wiley does many endurance races with us. I think there's 3 or 4 guys. I think it's Wiley and maybe Carlos, Carduz Bay. It's probably another, maybe Jim Graziano's part of that group maybe, but they've been running many of the iRacing endurance events. They stream them live. I find it pretty entertaining to watch. See if maybe we can share that link when they do it. Fourth place, Jim Graziano. Yeah, so I don't know if that's a historic livery, but I can't help but see a Christmas theme to it. So if he's going to stick with that, I may end up calling it the Christmas car. Carlos Bonds in 5th. He's up 8 positions from the beginning. I think I called that. Good job, Carlos. Hope you hear the engine stuttering a little bit. The traction control is trying to help him out. And here we have Kurt Newsbay. Kurt told me he has a car much like this one, painted in a similar way. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit envious. And 7th place is our league sponsor, Matthew Barber. He is driving his OSC liveried Ford GT. In the real world, Matt drives a Formula Ford. Maybe I'll have to talk to him about seeing if we can get his dad Jeff out here as well. So leader going by Jeff. Leader Jeff going by Matt. Matt told me he picked up a new car sponsor. I think, probably going to say it wrong, but it's Sixtil? Suxtil? It looks like they do apparel of sorts for the motorsports industry. Here we have Bob Lang, still toughing it out without that rear wing. Looks like he's got 2 swans sticking out the trunk. You know, I don't know which configuration these cars in, but I went from the factory. I believe they were supercharged 5.0s, maybe supercharged 4.6. I'm not sure what exactly they were. I know they were supercharged. The race version sure sounds good. I don't know if it's supercharged or not. Here we're going to jump to Matt McCormick. He's had a little bit of a rough day. He got beat up, you could tell by that rear wing. Definitely not doing him any favors. Ooh, a little bit of grass, that's what that noise was. Mac drives a Mini in real life. Races a Mini, I should say. We have John Wood exiting Oak Tree. He's down a few positions from where he started. He's got 2nd place going around him. VRG liveried car. About a minute left, so we should be seeing the white flag probably. You know what? The leader probably already got the white flag. It's hard to tell. I don't always have all the information to keep everybody informed. Let's see. Looking for Ralph Solomon. He might be off the track. And Clark Ostrom I don't see, and John Clerk, they may have thrown in the towel. Oh, I lost all the cars. Oh, no, jumped to Scenic. Here we go, we're back on the board with Jeff Underwood, race leader. I believe he's on his last lap, heading up through the S's. It's a pole. I think he's led every lap. Probably setting the fast lap for the race as he heads toward the win. I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think Jeff's won yet in this series, so be something for him to add to his racing resume. Oh, a little bit of extra curb there. The car bounced. He was able to keep it off the grass. I see a flag waving. Yeah, that's the checkered. Congrats to Jeff. We're going to pick up Dave Curtis as he exits the final corner. I think this may be his best finish as well. Back up to Wiley Cox. Find Jim Graziano. And Carlos Bonds, as we said earlier, he's our mover of the race. Started dead last, picked up 8 positions to finish 5th. Good job, Carlos. We have Kurt Uzbay, rounding Oak Tree, which I'm going to vote for best looking livery of the race. I may be a little bit biased. This is going to be a 6th place for Kurt. That's it. All right, let's see if I can bring up the race results. And I cannot. Like I said, it's been a bit rusty. I haven't done this in a while. But I'll run down the running order real quick. It's first place we have Jeff Underwood, followed by Dave Curtis. Then we have Wiley Cox, followed by Jim Graziano. 5th place, Carlos Bonds and Kurt Uzbay. 7th place, we have Bob Lang. 8th place, we have Matthew Barber. 9th place, we have Mac McCormick and John Wood. 11th, Ralph Solomon. 12th, Clark Ostrom, and 13th is John Clerk. All right, I'm going to jump and see if I can grab the guys for some interviews. We'll be back in a minute.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
Hey guys, this is Steve in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, Steve. Hi.
Hey, Steve.
Let's start with Jeff. Congratulations on your win. I believe it's the first for you in the series.
I believe so, and thank you.
Pretty good race. I think your pole fast lap led all the laps, right? I mean, pretty uneventful day it looked like. Some lap traffic maybe.
Yeah, there were a couple things there, but no big deal. I did have one kind of mistake going into left hook. I was coming up on a lapper and like kind of started focusing in on them, and I ended up dipping a tire off in the braking zone and got a little sideways, but it was only like a little half spin. So fortunately, I had the margin to not have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, it looks. I think I'm not even sure what the final number was, but I definitely know it was over 10 seconds. You seemed like you had about a similar pace to Dave Curtis. Maybe you were a bit more consistent. I mean, your fast laps weren't that far off. What was your just mindset going into the race? Were you trying to just kind of set qualifying laps every race, or were you trying to not make a mistake? Like, that's kind of how I approach this circuit because I know it's a tough one.
My approach was to kind of get out and put a little gap there in the opening laps, and then basically just try to be smooth and consistent and do just enough to keep a gap and win the race.
Well, that's exactly what you did. Congratulations. Dave, second place. Good day, right?
Yeah, anytime the car comes back in one piece, it's a good day, right? I know I wouldn't have anything for Jeff based on qualifying. He was, I think, a second quicker overall in qualifying. And I made a couple of small mistakes with wheel spin on that first lap. So then it was just try to keep him in sight. We ran 5 or 6 laps. He was, clearly getting away about a half a second every lap. I ended up with Wiley behind me, who's really quick and consistent in the car. So it was just about, don't make a stupid mistake, throw it off in the grass, and try to manage the gap back to Wiley.
Yeah, I didn't notice any major mistakes or anything too eventful for you. It just seemed like you two guys were able to put a little bit of gap on everyone, and you just maintain your pace.
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful. I noticed that the time gap up to Jeff was dropping quickly, and I thought, oh, there's a ray of sunshine. I might have a chance. And then it stopped counting down at about 7.5 or 8 second gap, and then it climbed, right back up to the 10 seconds. So, he was very consistent and drove a great race.
All right, well, congratulations. And Wiley Cox, third place. Obviously, I mean, we all want to be up front, the winner, but we can't all be the winner. A third place is a good day.
Yeah, third place is a real good day. Much like Dave, I was trying to stay consistent, which I did. 0 incidents, which I'm really happy about. I usually chuck it off somewhere. Mm-hmm. But Dave was just running about 6 or 7 tenths a lap faster than me. So I started out actually just behind Jim, who out-qualified me, and managed to sneak past him on lap 3 or 4, and then just put my head down, looked in front of me, and tried to hit all the marks on all the apexes. And I'm pretty pleased with how I drove today. I've driven this a lot in GT3, which I don't think a lot of people tend to drive this car in GT3.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty familiar with it, and I do like how it handles.
Is there a big difference between the GT2 version and the GT3 version?
Yeah, the traction control, the ABS are definitely different. There's more power in this one, so it's much easier to loop it up, especially on cold tires. So you can set the GT3 up to be pretty tractable for the first couple laps, but this thing is really a death trap for the first couple of laps until the tires come up to speed.
All right, great. I mean, I drove the car a few times before, and I have experience with GT3 cars, but I don't know how this car, it's being one of the older cars on the series, and which is probably why Jim picked it for us, just being a vintage-esque car.
Yeah, I think it's a great choice. I think it's going to make for some great racing. VIR, I know a couple of people said this was a tough track to start out with this car. It's a tough track anyway, and this is a good challenge for folks, so I'm happy with where I finished.
I'm going to try to look real quick on the series and see where we're headed next. I don't know if any of you guys know, do you?
Summit Point.
Oh, Summit Point, okay. Probably where we should have started, right? I mean, that's something we all know pretty well.
Yeah, VIR is a challenging track
Yeah.
in iRacing. So yeah, definitely a tough one.
Yeah, I mentioned that during the broadcast. I said it's kind of a narrow track anyway, and then the elevation adds another element to it. And then I found with this car, you wanted to avoid the curbs, which when you do that, it kind of narrows up the track a little bit even more. So it just kind of multiplied the difficulties of the track.
Yes, that was going to be interesting because it's not particularly a big track either.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the curbs, I think the curbs are going to be trouble for a lot of folks there as well.
Yeah, that's probably true, but you know, everybody. I was really surprised. Everybody great. I didn't see any like major contact or. I mean, we had a few mistakes here and there, but for a new track and like a new car and a tough circuit, I think everybody really did great.
Yeah, thanks for broadcasting. I know it was tough to find folks, so thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no problem. I was a bit rusty, and I have to apologize. I had an issue with the timing tower. You know, there have been some updates since I last did it, and things are quite a bit different. But yeah, I think we got a hold of it.
Nice.
All right, guys. So thanks for putting on a show, and I guess we'll see you in 1 week at Summit Point. And everybody have a good night.
I guess. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Sounds
Good
great.
night.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Steve.
All right, everybody at home. I hope we see you guys again. We'll be doing this most Tuesdays, not every Tuesday. When VRG is racing at a real event, we typically take the week before and the week after off. One to get the guys prepare, and one to, you know, let them get home late and aren't always going to be ready for a virtual race. So, like I said, we'll be here nearly every Tuesday unless we're at a real event. So see everyone soon and have a good night.